Hard Hat's all about showing up to play hard, doing what it takes to win.
If you want to cement legacy, win another.
He's your third center.
You don't want to pump him up too much, but it's hard not to.
This is maybe the most I've ever agreed with you.
Yeah. Here we go.
Amit doing this is just for you. You know why? Because he takes it so personally. When you're like, "Where's the music?" Amit?
Yeah, Amit. I love you, Amit.
This dude, this
Doesn't that
dude,
sound better than "damn it, Amit"? See, when I say "love you, Amit,"
this dude produced like 9 hours of live streams today. He's editing in his car while driving to the Garden to make it there to set up a live shot.
like a boss.
Yeah, that's what he's
Like
doing.
a boss.
How heavily prepared are Jimmy and I for this show? Just as I was pressing go live, Jimmy's like, "What are we going to talk about?" I was like, "I don't."
That was off camera, man.
I was like, "I don't fucking know." Press live, go, ban out.
You'd be shocked how many of those shows start that way.
Yes,
But yeah,
yep.
the
Amit
Celtics
is
won.
tough.
The Celtics scored more points than the Jazz tonight.
They did. That's that. We're gonna spend the next hour and 10 minutes
Patriots.
until Noah jumps on talking Patriots.
Yeah, free agency.
Free agency and all that jazz. We'll be joined by Sherrod Blakely momentarily, as well as Bobby Manning, Noah Dalzell down there covering this game, which again, not without.
Where's Bobby? Where I get people in my DMs. Where's Bobby? He's fine. He's
Everybody
fine.
relax.
Everybody
He's got
chill.
a little. He's got a touch of the KP. That's all. You know.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
Really?
Touch of
Who
the
doesn't?
Touch of the KP. Let's bring in Sherrod Blakely. Let's bring in laughing Sherrod Blakely. What's going on?
Touching the KP. I love it. I love
What's
that.
up, Sherrod?
I've got the black lung pop.
Yeah,
Joking aside, I'm terribly worried about Kristaps Porzingis. I guess
me too.
it's hard to. We're not going to spend the whole time there. It's hard to not start there, because it is. What's the word I'm looking for? Bad.
Troubling.
Yeah. Bad.
Disturbing is the word.
Disturbing.
for
I like
me.
that. That's a good one.
Yeah.
It's disturbing to me.
We will do panic meter tonight. People have been asking for panic meter. We're gonna get a panic meter tonight.
Well, let's save it for let's save it for Noah.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's just too bad we can't play the blame pie tonight. Celtics pulled it off.
Oh yeah.
That would have been a nice treat. Little blame pie before bed. Maybe we'll still play it. Who knows? Who's to blame for giving up the lead? We can still figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even pay attention to it because I actually didn't. One, I wasn't worried they were gonna lose, and then also I didn't care if they lost because
I know. I didn't think the Jazz were gonna tie it up. That I was like,
I didn't think we'd get that close.
Yeah, I didn't think so either. And I don't know if the Celtics did either. But once the Jazz did, everyone was like, okay, we're not actually gonna
play.
Yeah, we're not actually gonna let them win this game. So I loved a few plays once the Jazz tied it up. I really loved Jaylen Brown. I think he was the guy who was like, yeah, no, this is not going to happen on my watch tonight.
Yeah,
I am not dealing with the Garden report tonight. That's probably what was going through his head.
Yeah.
The chase down block, clutch, and then Hauser on the end on the other half of that, hitting that three. That
dunk on Kessler was nice.
Yeah. Oh, that dunk was something. I didn't know. I didn't think that was happening.
No one, including Kessler, saw that one coming.
Didn't all of you, like every Celtics fan out there, want Kessler at the deadline?
Yep.
A lot of them did.
And
I didn't realize he can't hit a free throw.
You people.
Why, Sherrod?
Because
Is this a white thing? Did Sherrod freeze or did I freeze?
Okay, no, I didn't freeze. Okay, he might be freezing. I thought that I was the problem, but he's officially frozen.
He is?
Yeah.
I'm gonna unfreeze.
Right as he was about to drop the white boy of the year card on Kessler.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, he's the Drew Holiday. It wasn't White Boy Day. Yeah, no, it's fine. Look, Utah's down, guys. You're down, guys. There's not much you can say about this game, but definitely some entertainment. It's nice to know that Brown's got that gear, which is like, we're gonna win. I'm gonna win now. Yeah, he did. We're gonna win now. Hold on, let me just
And then
You know,
the Luke O rebound, offensive board, and then the you heard that bar from Luke. He was feeling it. Luke's in one right now. Luke is in one right now.
Yeah, Porzingis out with cooties. Yeah, I've already talked
mono for Porzingis.
I don't know, Jimmy. I'm sure they thought of it. You know, we this is like Dr. House shit. We'll get into Porzingis
I
in a
got
little
a
bit.
guy. I'm gonna give my guy a call. Everyone's got a guy.
What's going on?
Everyone's my
my
cousin
Dakota knows what's going on. Yeah, in
my
Braintree.
cousin works at MGH, and he's not a doctor. He's actually a janitor, but he's
he does the floors. Yeah.
He's seen it all. He
but
works
it's after hours, and they don't, and they you know, so he can see the files and
they
shit.
just let him in. They let him in all the rooms. He sees everything. He knows everything. No, but I have no idea what's going on with Porzingis. But I will say this, and I said this after the show on Saturday night. He's out there trying to play. He doesn't have the energy. It's
right. You were there, Jimmy. Describe it.
Huffing and puffing, like just from shooting around, right? Like working with the trainer, how these guys do before a game, and just what they do every single game, right? Like their same routine that they want to do. He goes out there pregame, tries to get his shots up, tries to make some moves, and just can't get his wind back. And he just does not have the stamina right now. And I said it last show, it's not NBA ready from the stamina. So he's probably, it sounds like based on his tweet, I'm sure we'll put it at some point, it sounds like he's just as confused and, scratching his head as everybody else is. So I don't know, John, but I am going to text my cousin.
Sully.
Dr. Sully. They call him the doctor.
Yeah, Sully knows.
Yeah. But yeah, shout out to the guys who did play tonight. Hauser. We haven't even mentioned, I did mention Hauser's. I mentioned his last three of the game. But what a third quarter performance of the ages from Sam Hauser. 1 3-pointer away from the NBA record for threes in a quarter. He had 7. He needed to have 8. And he took 19. These are just like video game numbers. This is like what I would do in NBA Live 2006 with Peja Stojakovic. I would always pick the Kings, and I would just take every 3-pointer I could with Stojakovic because he would hit them all in that game. This is like Sam Hauser's video game type stuff. So
yeah. Well, you know what I like?
Another guy coming out of nowhere and dropping 30 plus on your head.
Yeah. So you like to see that because again, you always want to be reminded that he can do that. And then when he does it and he's not broken and the shot's not broken. And when he goes quiet, everyone's like, if Hauser can't hit threes, he's useless. And everyone was mad because there are some games it's just not going to happen. There's even games where Pritchard's not going to get his shot off. They're bench guys. You're not counting on it all the time, but you want to know that he's got that gear. So Hauser being able to do that and still being a weapon, as long as he's upright, that's good. You like to see that. Also, I do think you like to
shoot his back out tonight.
Right. You also like to see, we've talked about this a lot in the past, especially last year, when you were trying to figure out what else might you do? For example, and again, it doesn't matter because they didn't need him, but
nothing matters.
You trade. Well, I mean, because the last year the 1 seed was so locked up, and this year they're pretty much locked into the 2. So nothing really matters. So this was last year. I thought around this time was the time to get funky. You trade for Tillman, and then you just aren't really using him, and we're like, why not? If you want to work Jordan Walsh into a rotation, why aren't you giving him minutes? Why aren't you trying? Why aren't you sitting Tatum more and just putting Hauser out there and saying, just cook, dude, go out there and shoot. So I like the idea. I like the, being able to put, Baylor Shireman, you had the Baylor Shireman game a couple of games ago. I like getting those guys in first quarter minutes. I like Torrey Craig playing, extra minutes in there. I like seeing more Kada and seeing him out there and being active and doing his stuff. We're going to get Joe Mazzulla in there as well. So I think that's good. Let's hear what Joe's got to say about tonight.
The competitive nature that he has, but just his ability to stay in the present, and continue to move forward. then during the game when that is happening, like, are you talking to him or any of his teammates talking to him? Is it just like he locks in silently himself? Like, what does that sort of flow like?
Oh, yeah. Tony Dobbins does a great job communicating with him. I talked to him a little bit, but a lot of it is just him kind of being in his zone and have an understanding of where he is and what he needs to get accomplished. I mean, he has really good, situational awareness to his environment and, has an ability to kind of take it to another level. So, but even with, to me, what he did for us and, throughout the game, the efficiency doesn't really matter as much as, his mindset and, his approach and really his presence.
Now that the game is over, I have to ask you about your brother coaching another team. Does it mean anything more than the fact that he's
do that?
Team, and what was it like to get to coach against him?
I mean, yeah, he's a good kid. I'm happy, grateful that Will gave him a chance. He works hard, and he's just got to continue to work. But just proud of him and grateful that Will gave him an opportunity.
And during the game, Kristaps said that he's dealing with some unclear illness. Is there any timetable or any further update that can be provided?
No, I mean, I think he said it best. I think at the end of the day, just making sure he's safe. He's still able to come in and be around the guys as best he can and try to stay in the best shape possible. He's been on the court, so he's doing what he can to get back. But he kind of said it best. At the same time, we just got to kind of make sure he's good and we do what's best for him.
Joe. Sam,
both of those
the contrast between the first half, going basically 1 for 7 and then just like 6 in a row. I know you don't need to talk to him, but like for a shooter to just keep going like that and not lose confidence, what does it take aside from him just trying to keep it himself, like from a team perspective?
I mean, I think just trust. I think, trust and belief. I think at the end of the day, like, there's no shot that he shoots that we think is a bad shot. And so I think it was great that even when he was 1 for 7, the team was still looking to find him. And I thought he was great in that third quarter. But to me, I think, he's a straight shooter. He understands his work ethic. He does the same process every day, whether he does this or whether he goes, 1 for 7. So, the work that he puts in with his, the staff, the player development team, and just his overall approach is high level and very professional. So not much to be said.
And I'm not going to say guys are going to freeze a guy out for going cold to start, but you also have a lot of options. And it's very easy to say, we're just going to go somewhere else because these guys are all very capable. Mm-hmm. So how do you, as a team, as a coach, get to, fight the urge to be like, oh, he doesn't have it tonight. And not in a disrespectful way, just be like, we're just going to try to find who does have it.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of his shots we weren't going out of our way. I mean, he doesn't have many plays in the playbook, so it wasn't like we were going out of our way to get it for him. I think he has an innate ability to find the ball and put 2 on the ball and create advantages because of his knack and his ability to move, whether it's in transition or in the half court. So, I mean, I think the ball has a way of finding him, and the guys did a great job of looking for him once he got hot.
You ran way more than usual and transition from live rebound. Was it part of the game plan, and why?
I mean, I think just with some of the lineups that we had, with a little bit of a smaller unit out there and multiple ball handlers at one time, having Drew, Payton, and Derrick out there together sometimes, Jaylen, leading the break. So I think it's just having different lineups out there that present opportunities to do that.
Joe, is a game like this when they come back? Is that, you don't want to lose this game, but is that good? Is that good education, good stuff to learn from that fourth quarter that you guys just didn't pull away and everybody's happy that you have something to kind of a lesson learned from this?
I mean, I think it's good because of it just gives us an opportunity to get better. And I think, you take a look at the end of the third quarter, the start of the fourth quarter, but, we could have ended the first quarter better. We could have ended the second quarter better. Could have started the fourth better. So again, goes back into that situation. And, sometimes it's a little bit more, but always 10 to 15 possessions that you have to get better at, whether you win or lose. And, we just have to be able to learn from them.
And you talked about like not getting bored with the process. Is that difficult this time of year, 18 games left, to get across to the guys, not to get bored with, no, don't look forward, don't look to the playoffs, don't look to April. Just, is that difficult to get across at this point?
No, not for our guys. I think they do a great job of understanding what we need to get accomplished and, continue to do that. So I don't think so. I mean, I think it's a different type of character in that locker room. And, I think they're focused on winning regardless of when it is.
Joe, last week after Payton's 40-point night, he admitted that it could have been anybody. It could have been Sam Hauser's night, and he comes out tonight and makes 9 threes. I mean, what does it say about this team that so many guys are capable of stepping up like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a sign of a well-balanced team. I mean, I thought even with it getting close, regardless of who's in, who's out, we have a responsibility to win, and guys do a great job of stepping up. But as great as it is to have guys that are able to do that, it's guys to support each other in doing that. And I'm happy for Sam tonight just because of the work ethic, and I agree with Payton's perspective. But just whoever's out there has a responsibility to win, and the guys were able to do that tonight. Thanks.
That is Joe Mazzulla up there answering questions as the Celtics take down the Utah Jazz. They blew another 20-point lead tonight. Was any question asked about that?
Not that I heard.
No.
But the 20-point lead, not about that specifically, no. Gary's question was about as close as anyone came to addressing
About
that.
as close as anyone came, yeah. So, again, oh, I got an issue, Jimmy?
It's a little muffled. Your mic is just
I'm going to leave and come back just to make sure that it's all right.
All right, get out of here.
I know why. I got it.
There you go. That's better. Now you can't hear you at all. That's the best you've sounded, actually.
Jimmy, you're such an ass.
Speak.
How about now? Good?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes. Good.
Good. Sorry about that. Okay. First off, for those who don't know, Bobby Manning asked a question about Joe's brother, and Joe, in his dickish way, swatted it away and said he's on the other team. I won't talk about it.
Pre-game,
Pre-game. So that question about now that the game is over, can I ask this question? That's a dig at Bobby. I don't like it. So I don't like that at all. Don't do that. Okay?
You think so? I thought that was. I didn't see it that way.
It was like, oh yeah, now that it's over. I wasn't silly enough to ask this in the pregame when you would smack me around because that's what you do. And whatever. Anyway, I'm more annoyed that Joe was so dismissive of that question in the beginning than
I guess I don't understand why that's a big deal. Like when he said post game, you couldn't have said that pre.
Couldn't have said that pre. Give me a break.
Yeah,
again,
right.
that's me quibbling because I didn't need to see Bobby get a hard time over the most innocuous question. Like, isn't it cool that your brother has a job?
And honestly, that's
screw you, Bobby.
That's a question meant for pregame question.
It's a pregame, not a postgame question.
Yeah.
It's insane. Postgame is about the game. I don't want to talk about this. I'm here to talk about the game. If they lost by 30 points, you asking that question? Give me a break.
No.
It's a pregame question.
It's a pregame.
It's a pregame softball when nothing matters. Nothing matters.
It's a little pregame sidebar. Hey, put this up right before the game starts. By the way, Joe's playing against his brother tonight. Sherrod, like back in the day, that'd be like 200 words.
Oh, yeah.
Toss it in.
It's like when Doc Rivers and they played, let's say,
stuff.
team that Monty Williams was coaching, and we'd ask him about his relationship with Monty. We'd ask about that pregame.
Yeah.
And we all write the same 200, 300 word story because of their relationship.
Right.
Boom. You're done.
100%.
You don't ask that postgame. It's not.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm here. I'm exactly 100%. I'm looking out for Bobby 100%.
But
anyway,
to me, that's a Mazzulla criticism more than anything.
It is
fine. I'm taking shots at everybody.
Love it. Hey, why not? We're all going down.
Anyway,
might as well just shoot on the way.
So there is a blown lead problem that isn't. I got in a big Twitter beef with someone a couple of years ago whether blowing a lead, whether you can blow a lead if you still won the game. Like, meaning if you had a 21-point lead, then the game was
I remember
tied.
that debate. That thing went on and on. Yeah.
My head was going to explode. I'm like, yes, you blew the lead and then you still won. A blown lead is a blown lead. You have a big lead, you lose the lead, you lost the lead. Blown, lost. It was
Gained
there.
the
It's
lead.
no longer there.
Lost
it's semantics. It's still a thing. It's still happening. It's really just hard to take much out of a game where there's basically nobody playing.
Yeah. And especially it's one thing to blow a big lead when you're playing Cleveland, when you're playing Oklahoma City, but Utah at home? No, should not happen. Should you have won by 25 points? No, but it shouldn't have got to the point where you're tied in the fourth quarter. This is a team that is trying to not win games. They're trying to lose. And
and they were without some of their guys too.
It's
happened.
marketing.
Clarkson.
It's happened a little more than my liking since the Cleveland game. I think this is 4 times it, 3 times, certainly
At least 2 or 3.
Cleveland, Lakers, and this, and then I'm missing one more. But anyway, it is what it is. What it is. In that thing, I don't love it, but also Joe didn't care. This was a clear, like, you guys figure it out. The 9-minute mark when it got like to 8, he's like, nah, not doing it.
Well, yeah.
And so I think this was a drill, and it was fine. And again, it wasn't threatened, but they did it again. And that's that. And I agree with this. This idea, the players don't try to lose. Players are out there trying to win, and Utah was trying to win. Yes,
the organization is not putting the best players out there. It's an organizational issue, not a player issue.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, as Kes says, you win and you move on. What I'm not ready to fully move on for is my, general level of concern on the Kristaps Porzingis thing, because the last thing you ever want to hear is what Porzingis said when he released his own statement about missing the game. And again, his 7th game he's missing this year. And it's this. I've been dealing with some viral illness. This is the bad part that we haven't been able to fully identify yet.
That's the scary part.
Mm-hmm.
What did we do? What? Like in 2025, you've got some illness that we still can't figure out what this is, and he's not right. I'm recovering and getting better, but still working my way back to full strength to help this team. Thanks for your support. Hoping for a healthy return soon. Joe Mazzulla had nothing to add on it, but
I think
not great.
Yeah,
it's disturbing. I'm telling you,
it definitely sounds scary the way it's worded. I wonder if it's like a language barrier thing. That's like
Jimmy.
That's like me hoping. But the other thing is this though. There are a lot of viruses out there that, I mean, you go to the hospital with a fever or whatever it is, and they give you a bunch of different antibiotics. Some are more successful than others, and there are situations where sometimes the virus just has to run its course, and they might not be. They'll test it, right, and they'll try to identify it, but not always can they. That's just the way it is.
But Jimmy, wouldn't you expect a professional athlete with the level of medical information available to them? You would. I mean, it's not.
Dude, you can go next door to MGH, and they have the same issues, though. It's just crazy.
Is that where your cousin Sully works, Jimmy?
Yeah, I want to make it clear. He's the janitor. He's not a doctor, but he knows a lot of doctors. He cleans up the floors of all of those places. And based on what I know, a lot of viruses that you just can't always catch and
clean up,
but they run their course.
Hey, bro, kid. There's some bad viruses out there.
Hey, it's a really bad. Hey, the doc told me it's the worst flu season in 20 years.
It's like 20 years, kid.
20 years, they're saying it.
It disturbs me that they don't know, and he doesn't know. That does bother the hell out of me.
What's so funny?
But what are you going to do? I think it's under control. I mean, the guys at the game, like.
The fact that we don't know what the hell it is and he doesn't know what that's what bothers me. The fact that it's under control, that's great. But you have something that's under control that you don't know what it is.
I also love where you'll ask Joe Mazzulla. He's like, yeah, I don't know. I haven't talked to anybody. He's hopefully getting better. Like, everything's under lock and key. And then Porzingis is like, I have this crazy thing that nobody knows what it is.
You're like, shut up. Shut up.
Nobody knows. Teams of doctors are looking at this.
The first of its kind. Yeah, it almost feels like they're like setting us up for him to be out for a bit. Like with that tweet and like with just like kind of Mazzulla's answer.
Trust me.
Yeah, my cousin.
Trust me, bro. This is real.
My uncle had something similar. He was out. He's out of work for a couple of weeks, so Porzingis is getting close.
Yeah, it's probably the same thing.
Yeah, my uncle had something similar. He's a plumber, but
I love it.
He just had some Benadryl. Tape it up.
That's all it took. Yeah.
The good news is, same thing with what we said about Holiday. The good news is, assuming he can make a full recovery, and again, it's a virus, illness, not quite my forte. I'm more of like injuries more than I am sicknesses. I'm more like the injury expert. The good news is, if he's going to have to miss time, now's the best time of the year to miss it.
Yes, I agree.
Best time of the year to
I
miss it.
agree.
So hoping for a full recovery. Hopefully, if my sources are accurate, hopefully he's going to be able to come back from this and be ready to go.
My sources: Maki, Ricky, Danny, Terry, Mikey, Davey,
Yeah.
Timmy, Tommy, Joey, Robbie, Johnny, Brian.
Yeah, literally.
Say it again.
Yeah, my cousin Leo. He's a
Maki,
he's a
Ricky,
chef.
Danny, Terry, Mikey, Davey, Timmy, Tommy, Joey, Robbie, Johnny, and Brian.
Yeah, my cousin Joe. He works at MGH. He works in the he flips burgers, but all the doctors go down there and eat, and they tell him everything. They tell him everything.
This is guys. It's Utah. Like, I don't know what to do. It said, I talked for like 3.5 hours earlier today about Patriots free agency. I was like,
you did some serious work. By the way, you should plug that if anyone didn't watch it.
We do. We'll talk more about that, but you can check out a lot of good Patriots free agency stuff. Any moment now, something can happen, and like pop, so people will be jumping over to that other channel, and that's fine.
I'm waiting for Cup. I'm waiting for Cooper Cup. I want wide receivers still. Yeah,
could be terminal.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, it could be good. I am waiting for Cooper Cup. I actually think that's going to happen once he gets released after the league year starts.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, it makes
nobody
too much
else.
sense.
Nobody left.
Yeah.
What do you think? We won't get into it now.
No, we won't get into it. But so this is the thing that it's happening. They got to kind of deal with this. But again, it doesn't burgers. OKC loses to the Nuggets heading into the Celtics game.
Ooh,
there you go.
That's a bad thing.
Yeah, it's bad.
Oh,
they're going to lose 2 in a row. Damn. Whatever. Should be a good game.
The Lakers without LeBron, they lost tonight to the Nets. Oopsie.
What's his deal? What's LeBron? Have they said anything about LeBron, like timetable?
Oh, kid.
No timetable.
It's bad. It's bad, bro. It's really bad.
They're going to have to operate.
Yeah, they might have to. They're
going to have to remove
normally
it.
Don't do this, but they might have to cut out the whole groin.
Oh, he'll come back. He'll still come back for the playoffs.
It's bad, kid. It's bad. It's really bad. OKC is great. Again, this is it. Look, you did what you had to do in this one. You sat your guys. The guys you played 40-something minutes. Old man Al. I love the toe sprain. One of my favorite injuries, toe sprain.
Toe sprain.
Yeah, the left toe sprain.
Oh, toe sprain.
Yeah.
I thought you said toast brain. I was like, what
toast
is toast brain?
Brain.
I was about to WebMD that, man.
Toast. He's got a case of toast.
A lot of people would say that I have toast brain. Actually, now that I think about it.
Jimmy, I loved Jimmy Garden last time.
Jimmy Garden.
Try that again. Yeah,
I'm gonna try that again. Yeah, not Wednesday, but I'm gonna be back. Playoffs, weekends. I'm gonna try to make those ones work.
Yeah,
a lot of people are talking about Jimmy Garden. A lot of people. My phone's blowing up. Phone's been blowing up. A couple of good post-game segments me and Noah had, if anyone didn't get a chance to watch them. One on the rivalry, the Celtics-Lakers rivalry that we are speaking into existence. And one on Old Man Al, who on the night where everybody was turning the clocks ahead, Al Horford was turning them back.
Nice, Jimmy.
Yeah, that's what I said in this. That's what I.
That
just came to me. Yeah, that just came to me on the show, and I think I almost blew Noah's head off when I said that. She was stunned at how creative I was.
I think I have to put toast brain on the bracket.
I think so too.
I honestly thought toast brain. Yeah.
It's like if I just talk with Jimmy long enough, there'll be enough mallet drops, and enough stumbles.
Well, that was like the infamous hot guy incident that we had.
Hot guy.
Yeah. Hawkeye. We thought we were talking about like
guys.
Superheroes.
There's a superhero called Hot Guy.
Yeah, I was like, hot guy. No, because you were like, no, because we were putting every Celtics player was like a superhero, and John goes, Pritchard's Hawkeye, and I'm like, okay, I guess. I mean, he's a good-looking dude. He's like, Pritchard's definitely Hawkeye, and I was like, who's Hawkeye? Like, what?
You never heard of Hawkeye?
What movie is this from?
I'm hot guy.
Hot guy, and it turned out it was Hawkeye.
Yeah.
So that was another one.
Real quick,
Coast
we're
Green.
waiting on some more sound from the TD Garden, but Bobby Manning, who loves him some visitors, jumped in to talk to could have been Celtics coach Will Hardy about some of what he saw over in the other side, watching the Boston Celtics play, chiefly Sam Hauser and Jaylen
The
Brown.
other night, JJ Redick brought up that Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
What are we looking at?
Just a green thing.
Shots apiece
There
while
he is.
talking about how well they executed certain things defensively. Other coaches have tried to make those guys into scorers too. How difficult of a decision is it between, sending help and leaving the three-point arc against these guys, and then knowing that if you don't send enough help that they could beat you on
This
that?
guy's got good hair.
Yeah, there's not a lot of good choices. I think especially in a regular season game, one game, anything can happen.
He's gonna lose his job,
if
but
it
he's got
was a
good hair.
series,
Nah, he won't.
maybe
You don't think
feel
so? That's
differently
good.
about
Nope.
Playing something
He looks
out
like
a little
Jack
bit
Quaid
longer
meets
and
Sam
hoping that,
Darnold.
Oh, I can see
the stats
that.
Gonna come back to where they should be. Because there's
I
nights
feel like he
where
could save
you
the
get
world as a
tricked either
spy.
way.
I like that
You
too.
can send help and they shoot it great, and you're like, man, we shouldn't have helped. Or
Kind of
we can
boring,
help
but
everybody tonight, and for whatever reason, they could have a night where they miss 43s. Doesn't mean it was necessarily the right choice. Playing a team like the Celtics is it's taxing in that way, because in one regular season game, it can feel bad because of how disciplined they are, the level of shot making that they have. Jayson and Jaylen are two really hard players.
You want to make him smile? Ask him about Derrick
Now,
White.
You have them both out there. It's a bigger problem, and that's you haven't even started talking about Porzingis, Drew Holiday, Derrick White. I mean, all the other guys on the team that really make it run. So
Ask him
it's
about
hard.
Derrick.
It's about maintaining some emotional discipline when you play them, because the results don't always necessarily mean that you made a bad choice, because sometimes there aren't good choices.
That is a spy speaking right there.
He does look like
What
a
I,
Russian
what I
spy.
will say is, and earlier prior to the game, he said he still thinks the Celtics are the best team in basketball, which is interesting to hear coaches say that. I still think that I feel like people say that's the consensus around I'm not going to say full on consensus, but more people than not do often, refer to the Celtics as still the best team in the league, because I do think they think when they're fully loaded for Bear and when they flip that switch and use what right now is an extensive playoff experience for this group. It is interesting that that's who the Celtics are. Now, the Celtics aren't the team that gets there and they're like, yeah, when they get there, everyone else is going to play hard and they're going to, this regular season success isn't going to matter. They're the guys. They're the ones out there with like veteran presence who are battle tested, who've been to multiple finals. I do think a lot of people kind of still feel that that's who they are when they.
Listen, they won the championship and they brought everybody back, so it's really not that hot of a take, right? I mean, people still want to see what Cleveland and OKC can do. Talk to me in the second round of the playoffs. See if those teams, talk to me in the.
But it is
final.
It's calming. It is relaxing to know that, right? Like you feel a lot better, like feeling like, oh, you've been there. You've been there and done it. You've been there and failed. Both of those are invaluable experiences, obviously. Jimmy, what are you doing? Can't be draggy like that.
Oh, I just moved the microphone for a second.
Bad.
I know you could hear that.
Really bad. Oh yeah, literally
coming from a guy who had a muffled microphone for the first 20 minutes of the show.
That was a setting issue. I'm not batting the thing around.
I didn't bat. Don't make me. I'll bat it. I will. Now he's look what he did. See what he did, Sherrod? Now he muted himself, or he knocked his audio
I
off.
did.
See?
I'm gonna smack the audio right out of you, kid.
You deserved it. That, you know what we call that, John? Karma. We call that karma
right there.
That's some bad karma.
That is. That's bad karma. No question about it. Yeah.
There you go. Look what you did, you little jerk.
I did. I definitely did it. Yeah. Look, it's Utah, guys. It's Utah.
It's Utah.
That's all we can say. I mean, what do you want?
Just be glad the Celtics pulled it off. We would have had to do like 10 minutes of like how they blew the lead.
A fake anger show.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that one
Yeah,
either.
exactly. I said 10 minutes. Yeah,
everyone they're like, get mad, John. I'm like, I can't do it. You know, like, oh, rage out. I can't.
We're saving the energy for Wednesday. Wednesday's game matters.
Is tell you about our pals over at Prize Picks, official sponsors of the Garden Report. And again, you watch this show, you know how into this we are. We dig it. Prize Picks, bang, right there on the screen. Great daily fantasy sports app. Play 5, get 50 instantly when you download the app. Use that code CLNS. You pick more, you pick less. 2 or more players win up to 1,000 times your money. Boop, right there on the screen. Boop. Super easy to use, intuitive app, tons of fun. NBA is rocking right now. Ride with us all the way through into the playoffs and beyond. Once again, download that Prize Picks app. Use the code CLNS. Play 5, get 50. Take advantage of that offer plus other special offers. Taco Tuesday, Freaky Friday, free squares. You know, free squares when they're doing them. Lots of good ways to win your money. Once again, Prize Picks, run your game. I'm getting texted from my Patriots thread, and it makes me, nope, thank goodness, makes me nervous.
Oh, they don't know you're busy doing Celtic stuff right now.
Makes me
that
nervous.
That would have been good nervous, though. Like, good thing. Nothing bad can really happen in this for the Patriots, right?
Nah.
We refuse to talk about this game. No, we can talk about the game. Remember when Sam Hauser hit those threes, kid? That was freaking amazing. You know, and then what?
Yeah, listen, I already mentioned it. He had seven threes in the third quarter. It was unreal. It really was. I don't know no one's had a weirder season than Sam Hauser on this Celtics team. It has been a weird season. The guy's gone stretches. Yeah, roller coaster. The guy's gone stretches without even being able to play. Then he's played and he's just looked completely off. I imagine because he's not playing enough and he's probably uncomfortable out there and the back is stiff and whatnot. But give credit to the training staff or whoever's rolling that thing out for him, because on a night like tonight, I mean, he did miss. He took 19 threes, but in that third quarter, he could barely miss. And, you know, people have said it on this show. Noah's a huge Hauser guy. Basically says that, you know, Celtics go as Hauser goes. Not like that, but if Hauser's having a good game, typically means the ball is moving around. And, you know, he got his looks tonight. Different. He was allowed to get his looks tonight, you know, because without Tatum out there and no Porzingis and Horford, he had obviously more playing time, but there's still other shooters on this team. But Hauser went out in there, was aggressive. I imagine that was something that they, you know, talked about, or at least they wanted to all, you know, let Hauser get his. And again, it's like last week when Pritchard and White both dropped 40 out of the, you know, kind of out of thin air. Sam Hauser tonight drops 33 on you. And I guarantee you there's nobody on that Utah team who had Hauser, you know, the top 2, 3, 4 guys on their, you know, watch list, if you will.
Well, he's the ultimate wild card.
Nailed it, Jimmy.
Watch list.
Celtics, yeah, you're a team that lives and dies by the three, and he's arguably the best flat-out three-point shooter you have. And so when he's on, they become unbeatable. So to me, him and Porzingis to me are the ultimate wild cards for the Celtics. When they play well, they're damn near unbeatable. When either one of those guys is on. So
yeah. What I will say, and again, you know, people want a little bit of game action. We'll talk a little bit of game action. Though they let that lead slip away, I do think that when it was kind of winning time, you know, as we said, the grown-up showed up. Jaylen Brown puts his head down, goes right to the basket, you know, gets fouled. Drew Holiday makes a corner three.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is
which is great there as well. Then Brown goes to the hole and dunks it on Kessler's head. Then another kick out to Sam Hauser, and that was the dagger shot, another three. Derrick White with both of those assists, finding both Holiday and Sam Hauser for those threes. And all of a sudden, 103 with 3 minutes to go was 112-104, 90 seconds later. So, that happened. And then, it didn't matter in the game itself, but I did like watching Drew Holiday just literally rip it out of John Collins' hands at the end of the game and just run away. So
that's
again,
the only way John Collins wasn't taking a shot. This was a career night for him too. He took more shots in this game than he has ever taken in his life. And I mean,
really?
Yeah.
At a certain point, they said 0 for 8 from 3 after Collins missed a 3. And I thought they were talking about Utah. And it was not Utah. They were talking about John Collins himself.
I mean, he was in Chuck mode like I've never seen him in Chuck mode before. Just
30 shots. Damn, I didn't realize he took that many.
Yeah.
Remember all the trade rumors around him and with the Celtics for a little bit there?
Are you kidding?
When he was free agency.
Every 3 months there was a Celtics John Collins rumor coming up here. Yeah, it was significant. So again, when it came to closing time, they did what they had to do and lock this thing down. And we'll spend more time on it when we get there, like when Bobby and Noah jump on. But like, I don't know how you're not super excited. I don't want to place too many eggs in that Wednesday OKC basket, but
It's a big game.
I'm pretty jacked just to see here.
I'm really jacked for it.
Yes,
it's the last big game of the regular season. To be honest, I don't know. I have to look at the schedule again. There's probably a couple little ones, but I mean, you're getting the best of each conference right now. Playing really good basketball. I know OKC lost tonight. I don't even know how that game went or how close it was, but similar to the Lakers game, two teams coming in at a time where they're both playing really, really well. The energy on Saturday night was insane. I expect Wednesday to be a little different. You're not going to get that bright lights sort of vibe of a Saturday night with the Lakers in town, but I think you're going to get a really you might get a better game. Even as good as that Celtics Lakers game was, obviously I think the second half wasn't as competitive, even though Lakers made it a little bit interesting. But OKC, they play with a chip on their shoulder. They listen. Right. They hear everybody, kind of slighting them. They understand that nobody believes that they can do it in the playoffs right now because they haven't, and they hear it when whether it's coaches or players or media says, Celtics are playing like the best team in the league right now. They hear all that stuff, so they're coming in with something to prove, and the Celtics probably want to prove that they can beat them too. I mean, we know that they get up for these games. We know Jaylen Brown will be ready to go. Although the chat keeps saying, is Jaylen Brown hurt? I didn't see something like that, but
after he had the dunk on Kessler,
came up a little.
Yeah, and the camera got off him real quick, which I was kind of surprised. But it looked like he was holding that right calf or something on the right side.
So assuming these guys are, physically able to go, there's going to be no shortage of the effort and everything like that you're going to see Wednesday night. So it's going to be an intense, physical, I think, up and down, running gun game. And the OKC is their style of play is tough on the Celtics. Yeah. Young, athletic, fast, tough on defense.
They're deep.
And deep.
I mean, that's to me, that's the one thing that separates them from pretty much everyone else in the Western Conference and the East, for that matter, relative to the Celtics, is that they're one of the few teams that has deep talent. And that's something that, again, they wear you down over the course of a game. There's just absolutely no doubt about it. And that's going to be the challenge for the Celtics to withstand that, which was good that they were able to give Tatum the night off. You would have liked for them to not have needed Jaylen as much as they did. You would like for his minutes to have been a little bit lower. Same thing for D. White, but you'll take it. You'll take it.
John, what are you fired up about in this game? You brought it up.
I had an unpopular take the last time when they played, that the three wins in 4 game, trip that they had there, which included Houston, Minnesota. The Minnesota game, they didn't play great. The Houston game, that was a good game. A Denver team, an ugly Denver win against a team that didn't have Jokic, that was not great. And I said, you're really only going to remember one thing from that road trip, and that's how OKC punked you. Not just lost, how they literally just turned it up to 11 and
in the fourth,
in the third and fourth, and just blew by you. It was bad. And everyone's like, shut up, John. 3 out of 4 on a road trip is great. And I said, that's not what I said. I said, that's what you'll remember. And that's what we remember, because that's the only, you will really only care about 2 teams in the entire league. Last year, you cared about almost none. This year, you care about 2 teams. How are they going to do against Cleveland? And what happens against OKC in the finals if they get there? Are those teams legit as good or better than the Celtics? I don't know, but you split 2-2 with Cleveland, including blowing a lead in that last game. And again, you're without Porzingis, so take it with a grain of salt. But you lost. You had your horses, and you lost to OKC, and they looked better than you. You would like to see a win. You'd like to see you look better than them. As your last.
This is exactly what I was going to say. I was about to say this, but Joseph beat me to it.
Yeah,
you did actually remember all 4 games, so you were wrong.
Yeah, but I'm wicked smart, kid. Like that's
yeah.
We remember what are we talking about? That's it. Everyone's like, "Whoa, geez, it's not like I feel good about the Celtics because of that game where they beat the Nuggets without Jokic." No, the litmus test. The litmus test does not run. It's not a long list of teams.
There's only a few teams that make the list.
You care how you measure up against.
Well,
the East.
What did we say about the Knicks? What did we say about the Knicks? They can't beat anybody good.
They
can't beat anybody good.
Yeah.
So that's what teams would say about any contending team: Celtics, Thunder, Knicks, Lakers. If they couldn't beat the good teams, that's going to be the first thing anyone ever says about them when it comes time for the playoff matchup or the playoffs or whatever. So. It would be if the Celtics drop it Wednesday night and both these teams meet in the NBA Finals, OKC would be the favorite in that series.
Absolutely.
And that would be a big reason why.
Yeah. They'd have a better record and they would have won the head-to-head. So why would they not be?
Obviously they're playing well to make it to the finals. And even if the Celtics did make it to the finals, and they could even cruise to the NBA Finals if you're the Celtics. Because really, I don't think many people really give anybody a puncher's chance except Cleveland. So it's pretty much just waiting for Cleveland and Boston to meet in the Eastern Conference Finals. Any other 2 teams I think would be considered kind of an upset, whether it's Knicks, Bucks. I mean, really after that, who are you even talking about? Magic, if they can ever get healthy. Pacers aren't there. There's nobody. There's really nobody else. Am I missing any? Am I missing a team in the East right now? I think so.
No, there's nobody. Nobody.
No, not really.
So, the West has more competition, whether it's the Thunder, the Lakers are playing well. The Warriors are playing better than just about every team in the league right now. They're a hell of a team to watch out for going into the playoffs. And then you've got Minnesota, they've been up and down. Those 4 teams stand out to me. And then Denver, right? Denver could, obviously make noise if Jamal Murray can go on a run, and you've got the best player in the world in Jokic. So the West has way more competition.
Yeah, Houston's come back to earth.
Houston, I forgot about Houston. I mean, they're not. It's not Houston.
I like the talent. They're just young.
Yeah. It's not their time yet. They'll make it interesting. They'll make it difficult.
I wouldn't want to see them first round if I'm the West.
Just don't. I don't see them. Winning 3 straight rounds and getting to the NBA.
No.
But yeah. Have you guys watched any Warriors games at all since Butler's gone over there?
Yeah.
They're good now. You see,
it's crazy what like that can do to a team just to like rejuvenate the rest of the roster,
Well, what's happening with them is similar to what we saw early on with the Lakers, in that your best player has a lot less weight to carry now that he's got someone who's frankly very talented. You look at how easy the game looks to LeBron these last 15, 16 games before he got hurt. You look at Steph Curry, he's still giving you big numbers, but there's an undeniable reality that Jimmy Butler makes his job easier. Jimmy Butler makes Draymond's job easier. You go down the line, everyone is better and that's a problem for the top teams in the West, because now all of a sudden you're looking at a Golden State team that not only has a better roster, but they've also got the benefit of wisdom. They got guys who won chips. They know what it's like to be in those tough, gritty, grimy situations in the playoffs. And they just added a guy who has carried more than one team deep into the playoffs that, frankly, wasn't very good. The team, I mean. So they're a team you don't want to see in the playoffs if you're out in the West. And to be frank, I don't think too many people would be shocked if Golden State made a run and got back to the finals.
Definitely not. And I was talking about that with Noah, I think, after the game. We were talking about who the NBA wants. And it's obviously Celtics Lakers or Celtics Warriors. That's the ideal. Everything else is a huge ratings drop as far as I'm concerned, on a national scale. Obviously, if Celtics are in it, Boston's going to watch. But I think if you're talking about what the NBA wants in order to get, the ratings fiasco behind them, that would just be an unbelievable series.
I agree, Jimmy.
Anyway.
I want to ask
what do you want
guys
more?
And the chat, exactly. So who do you have more animosity towards, the Lakers or the Warriors? Like, which one makes for a better rivalry series? And you would think the automatic answer is Lakers, but the correct answer is Warriors.
Yes.
And I don't think it's close.
Yeah, I agree.
Right now.
Because the Warriors, as they are constructed currently, have broken your heart straight up. You're not looking at the history books. You're not focusing on Magic and no, this is freaking Steph Curry.
It's 100% recency bias.
Yeah, that's the point. That's the point. Whether it's the Warriors and Curry or Jimmy Butler over in Miami, he's done it too. So now you've got Butler. Butler is a villain. We love villains. And I'm
villains
trying to
and Butler and Draymond and freaking Steph. Oh, get him! Get him!
Trying to make Luka into the villain, and I think someday he'll be there.
Double revenge. Butler, Curry.
Yeah, exactly. Celtics Lakers is a rivalry, and it would be a great matchup if that's what it ends up being. It would be a great finals. But it's more to do with the history of the franchises and LeBron factor, of course. And you've got Luka. So again, there are definitely some added elements to it. It's not just Celtics Lakers. It's LeBron, it's Luka. But I think the Warriors, the Celtics having lost to the Warriors in the finals a few years ago, Curry, Butler, Curry kind of being towards the end. This Warriors team as we know it doesn't have much left. Whether it's Draymond, Curry, Butler, Luka's going to be around.
Jimmy,
Lakers are going to be good. LeBron will figure out a way to hang around for another 10 years.
Yeah, I forgot about this subplot. That one.
Thank you. That's what I was about to get to that. That would be the perfect way for Jayson Tatum to cap off this season.
With a nice Warriors. 8 for 27 Game 7 finals appearance. Where he goes one for 11 from 3. But the Celtics still win. Yeah, that'll be great.
The only 3-pointer he hits is the game winner.
Yeah. That'll be great.
Yeah.
Speaking of 3-pointers, nobody hits them more than Sam Hauser. Certainly not tonight. 33 points, 11 for 23 field goals, 9 3-pointers. Could we get these guys to 10? We're having a difficult time getting over that hump there. People are on the cusp of records here, but Sam Hauser, a career high, the third Celtic to set his career high in like the last week and a half, including Derrick White and Payton Pritchard.
You get a career high. You get a career high.
You get one. Here is Sam Hauser in the locker room after the game on his record-breaking performance.
Is there anything that made that one special?
Honestly, I don't really know. It was just kind of a tale of two halves, but once you see a couple go in, the rim gets a little bit wider for a shooter, so you just try to keep letting it fly.
When you did make that one look like you kind of like gave it's about time type of.
Yeah, I got to be better with that. Sometimes when you miss open ones that you think you should make, you just get mad or frustrated real easy. So I've been working on it this year a little bit. But sometimes you just need to let it out.
How important was it for you to have one of these games? Because you haven't had one yet.
I mean, it's good. I mean, it's good to have a night like this where, and teammates are finding you when you're open and you're making them and things are kind of just going your way. And obviously get a win as well is really important. But, yeah. Actually?
Yeah, FaceTime.
Well, tell her to. You can answer it.
No, you gotta tell the media. They gotta.
You can answer. Say hi. Okay.
Tim's mom's calling.
Yeah, but I mean, anyways, it's good to have a night like this, for sure. I mean, this stuff, these type of nights you dream of, and to experience it is really cool.
Joe said, I mean, there aren't a lot of plays for you in the playbook. When you are that hot, is it just the ball finding you, or how do you get yourself in position to get more shots?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. Running in transition, trying to find a window. These guys were finding me, though. They were looking for me. I feel like a lot of us do a really good job of whoever's hot trying to find them and get them a couple more up. And third quarter, they were really finding me, and I was just trying to, make that decision for them pay off.
Sam, you can describe the feeling out there. Like, do you hear the crowd's anticipation, that when you let it go? And obviously you probably hear the cheers, but do you hear that whole thing? Do you feel that whole moment?
Yeah, it's the worst when you miss it after they do that too, because they just go, oh. But yeah, I guess it's cool. I don't really know what else to say. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
Does the rim look a little bigger? Like, does it feel different?
Yeah, there's Sam Hauser.
Yeah, it feels different.
His mom calling. Sammy, was that you?
Sammy, you made me proud
on
tonight.
The TV. I saw you on the TV. She's probably younger than I am.
Hold on, your father wants to say something. Hold on.
It's Sam. I got Sam.
He picked up. He picked up.
He's doing an interview. I don't know why they're from Boston. Anyway, they well, one question that struck me there's no plays for Sam Hauser. Why is that? Shouldn't there only be plays for Sam Hauser when he's in the game?
On a game like this, yeah. A game like this, there should be.
They're from Wisconsin. I can't do Wisconsin.
Sorry.
Yeah, I just do Felger.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Wisconsin's kind of like Canada a little bit in their accents. Yeah, listen, that's a question for Joe that he won't answer, I'm sure. Why don't they drop more plays for Sam Hauser? I feel like Sam Hauser.
It's interesting. It just struck me. I'm like, wait.
Sam Hauser just gets open. That's like the play.
Yeah.
Just get open. You remember Rip Hamilton, Sherrod, your guy?
Yeah,
just get open. We just run nonstop.
They just, and that was literally the play that they would run. Just get open. Run along that baseline, use that down screen, and just get open. I'll find you. That was Chauncey Billups' blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And I think the thing about and that's why Noah, again, not to bring it up again, but she says when the ball finds Hauser, that means it's being worked around because there aren't plays for him, right? But if the ball's moving, Hauser's getting himself open and they're finding him just in an open spot, right? I mean, that's kind of how. But he was aggressive tonight too. He had a couple little floaters going to the rim. It wasn't just, again, I know he took 19, but it wasn't just 3-point shooting. He
started doing that in the playoffs last year, though, where he would just give guys that little hizzy fake, get him off the ground, take 2 or 3 steps in, and pull up for the mid range. Today, he actually there was 1 or 2 possessions where he actually just put the ball on the floor, got in the middle of the paint, just tried to shoot over guys, which we don't see a lot from him. Hauser, he's figured out. Look, he can't just be a catch and shoot guy. Those guys have a limited lifespan in the NBA. They're dime a dozen. What can you do besides just catch and shoot? And he's showing that he can put the ball on the floor a little bit. I thought there's one possession that I thought was really interesting. He was a little bit deeper behind the 3-point line than normal, and because he's such a threat, guys are just flying at him. So then he just takes a step in and shoots it from his normal range, and it's just like a practice 3 that he knocked down. So he's figured out how to score in different ways other than just catch and shoot.
No, hate that. I like Bobby. All right, we're bringing in Bobby Manning here.
Bobby!
Bobby, what's going on? Taking in the Utah Jazz. Celtics taking him down. Sam Hauser, record-setting night. 33 points. He's muted, but I'm still talking. That's good. He'll get it. Bobby, your takeaways from tonight.
Yeah, it was a fun one. It was an entertaining one. I like the fact that there was some doubt at the end and they had to make some plays. And overall, I think they faced a team that was well prepared to slow Jaylen and make shots difficult for him, get him off to a slow start. And he did a great job giving up the ball throughout the flow of that game, especially late. And, I talked to Will Hardy before the game and after the game, and he had some great insight about how difficult it is to slow those guys because of the fact that they utilize so much of what's around them. And to have a game like this from Sam Hauser, that's all the example you need of just how many things you have to account for here. And we've had this conversation forever, John. Do you single cover them? Do you double cover them? You can't just pick one because they're able to solve the defense that's in front of them. It might take them a little while, and it certainly took Brown a little while in this one, and he saw crowds in the paint, and he made some mistakes early. But later in the game, he's connecting with Hauser. He's moving the ball around, all that different kind of stuff that you need to see from him there. So I love what I saw from them in this one, even against a bad team, even against a team that you should take care of business against. You're down Porzingis, you're down Tatum, you're down Horford. That's a lot. And Utah could have keyed in and shut off Brown and made him ineffective, but he utilized Hauser. And this is why I keep saying they need that last year version of Hauser or something close to it, because when he's not there, you just lose that separating factor. And obviously you're not going to get 33 from him every night. But to have a guy that deadly that you have to account for, and Hardy was saying after the game, like, we really need to stay attached to him. But when Jaylen Brown's driving in the lane, that's easier said than done.
Something that John mentioned, and we talked a little bit about it earlier. I'm just curious your take on it. Joe's talked about not calling plays for Hauser, that there are very few plays for him. Whether you call them or not is one thing, but the fact that there aren't that many, I mean, is that surprising to you? Considering he's your best he literally is your best three-point shooter for a team that loves to take threes.
I think you saw a few later when he got going. And I think we've asked that question throughout time. Like, why don't they call a play for Jayson when he's getting uninvolved? Why don't they call a play for Jaylen when he's getting uninvolved? And they're just dedicated to that system of attacking these mismatches, bringing guys in the matchups. And if there's help, you get those guys the ball naturally. And, I thought there were times in this game where they actually did force feed Hauser late in that third quarter and try to get him extra looks and try to get him to continue that run he was on. And it was something to watch there in the third quarter, just the level to which he got going there. It's never happened in Celtics history before, that kind of streak in that short amount of time. We're talking like 11 minutes where he's pouring in pretty much all of his points in that quarter. So, yeah, I do think there's always a balance between running what they want to run and having that free-flowing system. And it's worked so well for them over the last 2 years here with getting a guy involved who needs to be involved more consistently. And for Hauser, I think it's less the involvement and more the health. Like, is he ready to go night in and night out? Is he physically able to perform at this level night in and night out? And from the very earliest point in this season, when that back thing first came up, I said, that's a big deal. Like, this is your seventh man, right? Or something like that. But his absence when he hasn't been there, has been absolutely substantial, because Torrey Craig, Sharman, Walsh, we love these guys, but they can't approach this. 33 points. I mean, you just don't get that as a bench wing out of anybody really across the league with this kind of shooting efficiency and this kind of deadliness out there. So he's like, I'd border on calling him their X factor for this playoff run. Like, you need him available at the very least, I think, to be the kind of team that you want to be come playoff time.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about the problem.
My dog.
The main thing with Hauser, why he's so valuable, is his value over replacement. You can't, if he's not working, your bench goes really short. If you're forced to play Hauser 8 minutes, 9 minutes because he's getting picked on defensively or the shot's not falling, you can't justify his minutes. Your bench gets real thin real fast, and you're playing massive Jaylen and Tatum minutes, and you're really struggling when Tatum is sitting there because you just don't really have options behind that. You're playing a lot of double big lineups, which have been good, for them at times, but it just changes what you do and how you do it. And, your ability to go in and out of different types of lineups depending on your matchup, because you're not getting enough out of him to justify having him play. So he's definitely valuable there for sure. Someone they have to have back at some point or another is, of course, Kristaps Porzingis. And we have a very strange update prior to the game. So, Bobby, I want to get your thought on this. A couple of things. before we wrap. And OKC, of course, coming up. But your thoughts on Porzingis, and we'll put the his message up on the screen. Dealing with some viral illness, have not been able to fully identify yet, recovering, getting better, still working my way back to full strength to help this team. Thanks for support. I'm hoping for a healthy return soon. Not the best thing and not what anybody expected. All we'd been hearing from the Celtics is, yeah, he's working his way back. I think what spooked people is viral illness they haven't been able to fully identify. So we've got a team of doctors trying to figure out what's ailing Kristaps. He's out there trying to figure out why he still doesn't feel well after all this time, and nobody has any idea. Okay, that's not great. Like at all. I'll feel better when they figure out what it is. And then there's a plan because right now you're just shrugging your shoulders, and all it is he shows up each day and he still feels like crap and they're not sure why.
Yeah, and wasn't able to get in touch with anyone from the Porzingis camp tonight. Only thing I did hear is that there is just kind of like a turning over of all the stones to try to figure out what this is. And if that's where they're at in this process, I can't imagine he's close to returning. So, that's all I have on this. I don't know what to say about it, and I don't even know what it could be here. So we're all just kind of speculating, but that's where we were going into this game too, where he misses a game, comes back for a game. I think he looked all right in that game. He came back and then misses, 6 straight now after that. So it's ominous. Doesn't seem like a good thing here. And
good word.
All we can do is speculate on that, what it is and how serious it might be and how much time he could miss here. But to me, this signals some level of frustration from Porzingis, whether it's just over not being able to figure this out, or there just not being clarity on when he'll be back, and just wanting to get a message out to fans. Because the team could have done this, John. They could have sent out a release and said Porzingis is working through X, Y, and Z. He's going to be back at some point here. Joe could have done that before a game instead of saying he's getting really close. Because to me, and I might be wrong, because again, I don't know this, but this update doesn't scream to me that he's going to be back on Wednesday. And Hauser said that in the locker room, hopefully he's back on Wednesday, Friday, if not. So I don't know if that's coming from a place of knowing that he could be back Wednesday or Friday. And if that's the case, then there's no story here. But for Porzingis to put that out himself at halftime, to me, is significant. And I don't know why it's significant, but that's not normally how you do this.
Right.
That was odd. We were talking about that. They've been tight-lipped about it and just being generally vague and downplaying it and just being like, he'll be back. He'll be good when he's good. And then he's like, nobody knows what I have. So again, we're not trying to be a doomer about it. You'll just feel better when you know. It's almost like waiting for the MRI. Speaking of which, we have now waited
what if it's both
7 minutes into this show, and maybe an hour and 15 minutes since the game ended, and Jaylen Brown has made his way to the podium. So let's listen to what
a little
Jaylen has to
awkwardly
say.
on your knee there. Did it kind of bite you there when you landed?
It was more in the takeoff, just using my explosiveness when I took off. It bothered me a little bit. I just tried to brace myself when I came down. But, it's fine.
Sam getting hot in the third quarter. After going cold, starting out cold, what is it for you as a guy who has the ball in his hands a lot and is distributing, especially with Jayson out? When you see a guy still working to get to those spots, even though he's cold, does that inspire any confidence? Like he's still working to try to get to his shots, even though he's cold, he still wants that ball.
What do you mean? What's the question?
So he's out there, he's cold, right? He's not losing confidence in himself. He's still working. He's still getting to his spots. He's still presenting himself as an option. Sam Hauser. Yeah. Like you as a guy with the ball in your hand, as a distributor, does it give you a little sense of confidence? Like he still wants it. He still feels it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's a part of our offense, is just creating space for one another. And Sam is, even if he's not making shots, he's a threat because he can get hot at any moment. So teams have to respect that. Tonight he was able to, get it going from downtown. But even when he's on the floor and he's not making shots, just continuing to get to your spots, spacing the floor, because he's still, at any given moment, Sam can go for 4 or 5 threes. I think teams know that, so that just proposes a threat. You don't want to give him open looks and get him going.
Jaylen, from your point of view,
how do you compare this team to the team from the last season at this same point?
How do I compare? Same, a lot of the same guys. Different year. We had to make adjustments throughout the year. I feel like that has made us better. And we're poised. We're more experienced. We've been there before. And I think our trust is there. So we just have to, have that mindset each and every night to come out and dominate, which is hard. But I think we're a better team than we were last year.
Jaylen, obviously maybe not the most efficient first half, but then the fourth quarter comes around, Jazz make a run, and you have some like big moment impact plays like the block, the big dunk, the bucket. Like, how much do you value or do you enjoy being having the chance to have those moments? And do you see like extra value in individual moments like that to flow, to switch the momentum of a game and stuff?
Absolutely, yeah. Those moments are great. I pride myself in looking forward to those moments, like when other teams on the run, our momentum is not there. We might have missed some shots. The pressure is raised, and you got to make a good play for your team, and be solid in that. So I look forward to those moments, when my team looks to me to make a play, and tonight I was able to deliver.
And then
muted.
Guys, quick question on Jaylen. One thing that he said there, other than using his explosiveness, which the chat liked, I liked, because I wouldn't even know. Do I have explosiveness I could use? Does everyone have explosiveness? Is that like just a trait you possess? Kind of cool, but but the one thing I wanted to ask there, he said they're better than last year. What do you think?
I think they're
that's
better
a good
prepared.
question.
Go ahead, Bobby.
You say no, right? Like, they're 8 games behind the Cavs. They've had more lapses than last year. They've had more injuries than last year. So for whatever reason, and we've tried to figure it out to some degree, they aren't that team from a year ago. And the urgency is the biggest reason, right? Because there's just a level of intensity that you carry through last season because you haven't won it yet. And so obviously this year is not going to be the same, or certainly better than last year. And it could get there, into the playoffs. But to this point, all we have so far, they're getting there. They're getting there in terms of matching it, because I do think this last month and change has given us stuff that resembles the 24 Celtics. But from start of season to this point, you have a number of guys whose performances have been down over last year. You've had a number of guys who have missed significant time compared to last year. So if you're just looking at the results here, and certainly just the record, I think it's only like a game or two off where they were last year. So it's not a significant difference in the record, but just how the season's progressed and what they've looked like through the flow of it, it's not as good as last year. And that's fine. You can still win a championship and have it not be as dominant and just great as last year was. It'll still be a championship. But just in terms of that question, are they as good as last year? To this point, they haven't been.
If you're going to go by records, then I would absolutely agree. But I think the fact that they've had as many injuries, they've had a lot of setbacks, they've had, the inability to sustain a long lead, and yet, lo and behold, there's just a handful of games off the pace that they were last year when we thought they were flawless. I think having gone through all that adversity and still not being that far removed from where they were a year ago, I think they are better because they've been able to withstand that adversity and not be significantly depleted by it. If you look at a lot of other teams that would have gone through, like your second or third best player missing as many games as Porzingis, having a starter / 6-man Al Horford type who is on load management where they don't play any back-to-backs, I don't know if you'd have the second best record in your conference. I don't know if most teams could be that good having gone through. And I do think, Bobby, it's going to help them come playoff time because, again, when things get a little rocky, they're going to be able to handle that because they've been through that for an entire season. But to your point, if you're going by the record, then absolutely, this team isn't as good as last year. But I think this team is better prepared to win in the playoffs than last year's team was.
So a year ago at this point, 51
game
and
difference.
14.
I think you can make a case. Sorry, I think I'm on a little bit of a delay, but what I was going to say was you can make a case either way. And I've gone back and forth on this team. I've been pretty down on this team at points this year, but I think the reason why you can say they're better this year is because their role players are better. Pritchard is way better this year.
Right.
Cornette, in my opinion, is way better this year. I think
True.
Hauser's
Facts.
doing things. If he can get healthy, if Hauser can get healthy and stay healthy, I think you can rely on him just as much as you relied on him last year in the playoffs. I mean, tonight's a great example of that. I think Tatum's better this year. I think that Derrick White's better this year. You can make a case that even Al Horford's having a little bit of a stretch here where, he's looking like either better or just as good as he was at points last year. So you can put him and Jaylen Brown right now is playing about just as good as anybody in the league post All-Star break. Two-way basketball, right? Offensively and defensively. And yeah, he's Jaylen Brown. He's going to have his ups and downs here, but I think Jaylen Brown's locking in right now. And if you get him at a point where he's playing like a top 15 type player going into the playoffs, I think you can definitely make the case that this team is set up to be better than they were last year. And quite frankly, they might need to be because we were just kind of shitting on the East, but they had such an easy road last year to the NBA Finals. I don't think it's going to happen this year, even though I do think the Celtics are going to cruise to the Eastern Conference Final. I shouldn't say cruise, but I think they'll get to the Eastern Conference Finals. They'll play the Cavs, and I think they'll beat the Cavs. But I think the road to get there is going to be more difficult, assuming the rest of the teams in the East can, either stay healthy or get healthy, where it just didn't happen last year.
And that's part of the consideration is they might be worse this year because the competition around the league is better. It's tough to tell which one of those it is, especially when they've been this version of themselves when healthier. And again, what I love most about tonight and what we saw for so much of last year is doing this when you're down 3 rotation guys. They did that all of last year, and they've done it more consistently of late. Certainly last week, you're just beating teams left and right with multiple droves of guys out of the lineup. And that's what made them so dominant, so consistent last regular season. And then the playoff matchups, we're still, kind of gauging, was it the road? Was it their level of dominance? I think this postseason will tell us a lot about that because you're right, Jimmy, and it's inevitably going to be harder. There's no way that this path this year, this run that is in front of them is going to be as easy or easier than last year. And again, no fault of their own. You can't control who's out on the other side, but key guys were out in those spots, and there's just a greater level of competition this year. So that makes it tough to judge here too, but I think just a little worse, John.
So the reason I don't think worse is because they haven't tried yet. They're 4 games worse, having missed key players for significant stretches of time, when last year they were blessed with remarkable health pretty much throughout the season for when games mattered. And they're 4 games worse record-wise than last year, and they haven't even flipped the switch. So I think that's what Jaylen might be referring to, is like, we got a better overall unit this year than we have last year. And that's to Jimmy's point. What he said earlier is you're getting more contributions from people you got less from last year. And I don't think anybody, I don't care if you can look at Jaylen Brown and statistically say he's having a worse year this year, that Jaylen Brown is a worse player than he was last year. He's still Jaylen Brown. And
Right.
So if you get playoff Jaylen Brown in the playoffs again, you're right back to where you were there. People might talk about a holiday drop-off and this and that. I think almost everything that you can look at from any sort of performance drop-off perspective has had to do with health. And the rest of it overall has to do with they've been playing with their food most of the year, kind of half taking it serious. They're doing this at about 80%. Last year was an FU revenge tour. We want this back. They were pissed off. They wanted to prove it. They were loaded they were loaded up. They had the whole new team and they were ready to rock, and they took every game seriously. It's really rare to see a team play, I wouldn't say all 82, but such a high percentage of their games with focus and intensity. That's what Cleveland's doing this year. And I think that's one of the reasons you can say that they have the record. They're like, holy shit, it's awesome being good. And they're really buying into it. And they're just stomping teams left and right. But again, you get into the playoffs and the Celtics go full on to the fullest capacity. I'm not going to argue with the sentiment that they might be worse. I'm not discounting what the other teams are doing. Last year, the big difference was they were so much better than the next closest team.
it didn't matter. There are legit other teams out there who can and will challenge you. I think the Celtics could have given a C- effort throughout the playoffs last year and probably won the title. So there is a difference in what's going on out there, but just they themselves, I think that they're as good or better. We'll ask quickly, Bobby, how big is this game to you coming up on Wednesday? And we'll hear more from you and Noah talking about this and breaking it down, later on. And you guys can catch that on our Celtics All Access YouTube channel.
Ginormous. This is as big as it gets.
That
was a good one.
Don't play it cool.
This is ginormous.
I
Only
was like, what
because
the hell is he shaking his head for? This is a good game.
I almost forgot it was happening. This is huge. I mean, when you have a game like this, after they just demolished you on Oklahoma City, if you remember the context, everybody's healthy, everybody's available. It's this test, this matchup that's been so difficult for you and looks like an inevitable final series to some degree, and you just fall flat on your face and look incapable of keeping up with them to some degree. And it's just one game, right? And you don't play them a ton, and you're not maybe prepping for them to the level you would in a series, so you're not going to look at that one game and say, they can't compete with this team or the Thunder or the new favorites. And actually, John, over the last couple of weeks here, just watching the Celtics, I actually am sliding them back up into favorite status. After that Oklahoma City game, I think it was fair in what they were doing at the time to slide them up. I think the Celtics have regained that status with full health and, some of the other stuff that they've achieved over the last month or so here. So this is prime
Porzingis
opportunity.
dying. Yeah.
Of course. So I think this is a prime opportunity to show that you can be in the driver's seat in this matchup if it comes down to it come playoff time. But you have to show up. And they didn't in that last game. And if that happens again, all of a sudden you start to have doubts again.
Huge, kid.
It's huge, kid.
Yeah.
I mean, there's such a difficult matchup, Jimmy.
Effing
Every team has an opponent that they don't match up great
Had that
with.
teed up
And obviously,
for so long. Yeah.
And obviously in that game, Jimmy, too, they didn't have Chet. And now you add Chet to this equation and Hartenstein, and they can play together and they just have all this flexibility.
And you take away Porzingis.
Right. So you want
Has
to
the
see
line
the
come
Celtics
out
at
in this
least
game yet? I wonder
close.
if the lines come out. It'd be interesting to see if the Celtics
Probably
are
not with injuries. You probably need injuries
favorited
first.
in this. No, I mean the line will still come out, but it'll just change based on how the news goes. But,
yeah, it's huge.
It is
nothing yet that I can see.
No, nothing.
If I had to guess, Celtics 2.5.
That would be the highest, I think.
Yeah.
It just feels like. I
I'm
mean,
thinking
again,
1.5.
Okay.
Especially with guys inevitably out, or
Yeah,
Porzingis
right.
at the very least, you would think.
Right. It's gonna be a great game.
So
it's gonna be a good.
So the Nuggets won tonight. Is Jokic the MVP again? Because all that matters is who wins the game that everyone's talking about. Or did people not even know they played tonight? And since the other one was on national TV, it's SGA. Does it matter that Jokic went for 35, 18, and 8 tonight and put up 140 on Oklahoma City?
They're a tough matchup for the Thunder. I think if you're the Thunder, you're saying we don't match up great with the Nuggets. And that's how it goes.
They took it to him over the
But
weekend.
the other key number there is Jamal Murray, 34 points. He's been the guy this year. He's the key to their success because he has not had a good season, or at least he didn't have a good start to the season. And he's starting to turn it on a little bit. And he's a dog. So if he can get going, he can bring the Nuggets. Him and Jokic can take them pretty damn far. And in the playoffs,
By the way,
they're just a physical.
Yeah.
What's that?
After that bad start, his numbers have really normalized. They're almost identical to last year. But yeah,
even in that game, the last game that we saw between the Celtics and Nuggets, it's like the worst start you could ever imagine. And then he's Jamal Murray by the end of the game. So it's been a weird season. I can't really identify why he's been so erratic. But yeah, he's the barometer, Jimmy. And then on the Thunder, Jalen Williams left tonight's game with a hip injury. So that could be a factor Wednesday as well.
Oh, huge kid. So we'll see what happens there.
Kid.
You know what though? You don't get the full test if you don't have everybody. And again, the Celtics will probably be without Porzingis, and who knows what's going on with Jalen Williams there. So we will see. But this is a fun game. It's Wednesday, ending a long home stretch there. Everyone will be back down there checking it out. So it should be a lot of fun. Naturally, we'll be here. We expect a big crowd and to have you all in here and then some. So please jump in and join us on Wednesday night. Should absolutely say that over on Patriots Press Pass, offering memberships with bonus content, but you don't need bonus content to jump into what we're doing right now, which is a ton of news in and around free agency. Multiple live streams today, and I expect a lot more tomorrow as the legal tampering period was really tampery today. I'll say tons of
it was
tons
tampery.
of signings, hands very handsy. A lot of people were tampered with everything. It was a crazy day, and again, there's still a lot more to sort through here. Some Patriots fans.
Did you give him a grade for day one? Did you guys grade out or?
We were kind of talking about it. I think the general consensus was A for effort, B for the players. Like they tried. You took a big swing. You missed on Godwin because he didn't want to go anywhere.
Yeah.
He wanted to stay in Tampa, and
you left
you
20
outbid
million,
them by 20. Leaves 20 million on the table. That tells you there was nothing you were going to do to get him there. You overpay market to get the big D tackle there, who initially had signed with Carolina, and the Patriots flipped it. Milton Williams, that was done. Philly's guy there, their D tackle, and they must have picked up the phone and said, "Stop! What's the deal? I'll go 7 million over," and they did, and they got that. They got a good second corner opposite there. Look, I said this beforehand. This was my general philosophy. Everyone's going to talk about like, well, you saw Laramie Tunsil get traded, and he's a legit, elite left tackle, and we would have paid that price. And Metcalf, everyone's like, I would have done. I don't know if you would have done that. I don't know if it makes you better. I think you're a team with this many holes. I think trading a bunch of picks is always a little sketch.
And Metcalf signed a huge deal after that.
And Metcalf signed a huge deal. I don't love Metcalf, but I like that deal. For a guy I like a little better, I would have traded a second and given him all that money. There's an argument to be made for it, but I always thought it would be really hard to address both left tackle and receiver in a meaningful way, which is to say, I think you're looking at Band-Aids rather than long-term solutions. So if you can find someone if you can fix every other part of the offensive line and coach around or scheme around having not a great left tackle, I think you can live. It's not ideal, but you might just, if it's not there in the draft and it's not there right there in free agency to grab somebody right out of the gate, do the best you can, get as good as you can everywhere else, and just have to kick the can down the road a little bit farther. And I think that's what they might have to do this year, but also they still have so much money that things are.
They've got money. They've got time. Something could happen in the trade market.
So there's more time. They got good players today. So, and I'm not a Pats apologist by any means. So I think they went for it. They said they were going to go. They said they were going to be aggressive. They were exactly that. There are some people that just don't want to play here, and you have to live with that, or want to play somewhere else more.
Right. Well, that's going to happen now. It's going to happen in New England now without Brady at the helm. But my friend Danny said it best. Shout out Danny. He said, "You don't win the offseason without overpaying."
Yeah,
that's it.
This isn't going to happen. Cup's going to get released when the league year starts. The reason nobody's trading for it is because his contract is outrageous, and no one wants to pay the 3-year $80 million deal that he signed. So they can't find a taker for anything. You don't have to trade a thing. It's just a matter of getting Cup to sign for something that you think is reasonable. I think they're going to get one. I think they will find their way to one or two receivers that might not be perfect, but people will feel okay about, or feel okay that they might do something, and people will feel a lot better. But when your only receiver was Mac Hollins, and then you're looking around like, come on, kid, we got to do better. Got to do better than that.
Another number 2 kid. Like, come on.
Yeah, no, are you kidding?
3.
That kid's a number 4.
Yeah, I know. I think Cup would be great though. I think Cup would. I know he's up there in age, but those are the guys that are available. Those are the guys you can get. So
hats off to Taylor doing the good work. We will have some film review stuff coming out on that premium channel. If you sign up for All Pro tier or higher, you get Taylor Kyle.
And guess who's back in town?
Reviews. Larry Fitzgerald, Logan
Josue.
And Josue. Is he coming?
Oh, Josue.
Oh, Josue. Is he coming?
What does this have to do with the Patriots? What a segue.
It's just
I don't know.
Related news.
Is it related? But anyway, check out Taylor.
Sorry, it just popped into my head.
Yeah, it's the opposite of related. It's a complete.
We forgot to
left
mention
turn.
it. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Bobby's excited. He's gonna see his old friend.
But yeah, we'll get some Josue on there too. But check out Taylor. Thanks to Mike. Thanks to Amit, who once again did the job of 3 today, as he often does, and he's down there at the Garden as well. We'll give him a break. And thank you guys for hanging out here on the Garden Report, where the Celtics took down the Utah Jazz. It got scary for a second there.
John, where were you
but
on
they
the
hold
Pat
them
show
off.
today? Looked like you were in like somebody's cafeteria or something.
I was in Eastie, not ready to jump on. But when I didn't have my equipment, I didn't have lighting, I had nothing.
Good.
But when we jumped in there, because I wasn't supposed to be on. We were, in meetings, and Mike Hadlick was on, but I got stuck there longer than I wanted to. And we had 1,400 people in there after hour 1, and there was so much going on. I was like, stop, I'll jump on. Let's keep it going. We went for 2.5 more hours. I called in
it was
Giardi.
good time.
So we just wanted to keep it going.
I was
but,
watching for a bit.
Once I jumped on, they started getting people, and everyone. When I jumped on, everyone. It was literally like suicide watch. People were so upset, and then it was a scary place, and everyone's like, "Shut up, John! Get out of here! I hate you." And then all of
You
a sudden,
ruined it.
They started signing one guy after another, and then the Milton, the Milton Williams thing. He was signed, but then he wasn't signed, and there was this cryptic tweet, that was like, "Oh, lots of teams in on it," but it was quote tweeted over a Patriots reporter. It was like, wait a second, and then bang, they got him, and everybody was happy again. So we hung on for a while, but thanks to everybody who watched. We had like 2,500 people in the stream. A lot of Pat's interest. People really are invested in this team getting better.
That's Garden Report numbers.
Yeah, that's like finals numbers. It was good. Yeah, no, it's the opposite of a jinx. I came in there and everything happened. It was
But they
good.
thought you were going to be a jinx.
But yes, thank you, Louise, for jumping in. I do agree. Everybody here, like and subscribe. Absolutely. Yeah, the Wi-Fi was not great. It was not ideal, but we made it work. The point was we had to keep the party going. It was far from perfect. Okay.
I think he's talking about Josue.
Oh God, Josue. Okay, 'cause I had some Brockton Wi-Fi.
We're back to
issues
Josue
today.
again.
Back to Bobby's. Oh God, I'm so
Sorry,
worried.
I missed all the
that's
Pat
gonna
stuff.
happen.
I got nothing there.
As soon as Josue jumps on, he's gonna just go like, Robotronic on us. So, all right. Anyway, thank you guys for hanging out with us. Catch Bobby and Noah. They'll have more on this game, and they'll preview the OKC Thunder matchup coming up on Wednesday over on our Celtics All Access channel. Thanks, Sherrod. Thanks, Jimmy. Thanks, Bobby. We'll see you guys on Wednesday. No one's sneaking a vegan brownie by me. I'll tell you that.
Okay, you know what, John? We're going to do it.
You have to feel that way too, Bobby.
I have to
Same.
feel that
Same.
way. Let's slide out over and make Luke your first center.
Bobby, we gave you Luke an hour early. We're not going to end this on a damn conversation about Luke